Hello, welcome. This is a daily tarot reading, but these readings are timeless. So if you've stumbled across this, then it will have a message for you in terms of where you're at on your soul's journey and what you're experiencing and going through today. Today, we are really being called to look at something which is arising from the past. This is based on a memory that holds an emotional content. And we're being given the chance today to look at it from a different perspective and to see it from a different angle. This feels a lot to me like the transmutation of trauma, or the transmutation of something that was emotionally difficult. And what we are being called to understand is that from that one experience or that one event, there have been belief systems formed within us, all based around protecting us from that thing happening again, or protecting us from the world that we view in which this kind of event happens. This doesn't necessarily have to be a hugely traumatic event. If there are memories that are just occurring to you today, if there are things that are coming up where you're just being reminded of particular instances, particular events, even particular stories that you were told as a child, particular understandings that you came to believe about the world at certain points of time and within certain experiences, these are being highlighted. So if you're feeling a bit nostalgic, or if you have memories that are sort of arising, bubbling up, coming up for you, we're being given the opportunity today to just see that memory and look at it again from a slightly different perspective. This doesn't mean, if you are dealing with a sort of a trauma or a traumatic memory, this is not about gaslighting ourselves or pretending to say that it didn't happen or we didn't experience it. We know, we feel, we have been through what we have been through, and we can give ourselves love and compassion and hold space for that. But what this is an opportunity to alchemize that experience within our body and to turn it now from something that holds a certain energy within us of the emotion of that event and the narratives that we kind of built around it, and because of it, we're given the opportunity now to allow that to shift and change into something much more useful, much more helpful, much more beautiful for us. You have been, or you are today, quite actively engaged with what's happening in your mental energy, with the stories that you're telling yourself. You have an awareness that you didn't have before. You have an awareness now that you didn't have before. And you may already be, or it's a very good idea to be engaging actively with things like visualization, prayer, manifestation techniques, journaling, things that help you to get your mind clear. Because when these stories come up, they will carry an emotional component, they will carry an emotional charge with them. And as we look at it from a different perspective, what we're trying to do is allow that charge to dissipate. We honor the feeling, but we don't want to keep on repeating that feeling, and we don't want to keep on repeating that story, because at a certain point it's holding us back. There is a call today, there is a need today to look again at the landscape in front of us. Look again at where we think we are going in our future, what we think is possible for us, how we might want to position ourselves. And if we are carrying stories that are telling us that certain things are not possible, that the world is not good, that we will not be supported, that we will be hurt or damaged by the world, as scary and as difficult as those narratives and the emotions that go with them are, we have the power now. We have the power now to shift and change that narrative. There is doubt coming up for you in this process, and that's to be expected. Although you're willing to look at what is happening in your mind, to what stories you're taking from this event, to what you associate with this memory, or what it has led you to believe about the world, there is inherently some doubt and some difficulty potentially coming up around your power to change it. What options might be possible for you. There may even be some decisions to make in terms of what you're manifesting in the physical realm, where you're moving to, what you are creating. Because if there have been certain options that you've wanted in your heart but that you haven't entertained, maybe certain things that you've just thought are not possible or not safe for you, there is now this opportunity to sort of look again, and there may be some decisions, there may be some alterations. This may be a kind of a little bit of a course correction that's happening here in terms of what you're moving towards, what you're manifesting in the physical reality. It's really important, and there's a key message here which is telling you you can let go of your worry, you can let go of your stress and your fear around this. You can believe in the power that you have to change it, because you do have that power. And change is here. We've got the Wheel of Fortune right at the middle of this reading. We have this moment now where we are being told, even though you might not think you have the power to change this, even though this is something that has felt in some ways fated, fates can be changed. And the fated element of this is simply a trajectory that was opened with certain experiences. Perhaps it's a money story, perhaps it's a relationship story or a health story that you're recognizing was instilled in you at an early age, or instilled in you through watching your family or the experiences you have within your home, within your family. Think about what you would want instead. Think about the kind of life that is offered to you if that is a key story in your psyche. And think about what you would prefer. So manifestation, affirmations can really be helpful here. For instance, if you're recognizing that you're feeling unsafe in relationships, giving yourself those affirmations. There are good relationships waiting for me, available for me. I have good relationships in my life. There are people that I trust. We have to check in when we're speaking affirmations on whether we believe them, whether they feel true to us. And maybe one thing that can be helpful is to kind of build up. Start with something that you can believe. Start with something that feels possible, even something very small. And allow yourself to just sit with that, and allow yourself to build one belief on top of another and think, okay, well, if that's the case, maybe this could also be the case. I can allow myself to maybe believe that this might be the case. I might be able to allow the possibility that this might be the case. So we're working with ourselves. And again, this is a collective reading. This will be different for everybody. But I'm just saying this because depending on the memory that you're working with, and depending on the implication that this belief system is now creating for you, give yourself that softness, that gentleness, that compassion, that care, and that slowness to work through this if you need that. For other people, you're just going to be recognizing something coming up, and you're going to have a sort of wow moment. Oh, I didn't even realize I was holding that belief. I didn't even remember that thing had happened. And this is going to be much more the case of something just slotting into place for you. Suddenly you see it from a different perspective. Suddenly you understand it differently. And that allows you to alter or change the entire way that you're viewing your future, the entire way that you're making your plans. Suddenly there's a plan that you feel capable of making that you were feeling a little bit blocked from before. So again, this will be different for different people depending on what it is that you're dealing with that's coming up here. But the key is that this is a moment of alchemy. This is a moment of transformation. This is a moment where connecting with divine energy, with divine consciousness, however you relate to and perceive that, actively asking for help and support from the universe, actively asking for help and support from your higher self, from divine intelligence, is going to be useful for you in this. It's really important not to feel that you're alone. We can acknowledge that we are not on our own in that we are protected, that we have this capability, that we have this capacity, that we can leave that behind, that we can transmute and change that. We don't need to feel that we're victims to fate. So if we recognize a trajectory that we're on, remember, acknowledge right now that you have the power to change it, because you do. Okay, thank you so much. This was the reading. I hope that you got something valuable out of this message. Do like and subscribe for more readings and for more videos like this. See you soon.